It was a quiet morning at the airport when a black soldier, wearing a faded military uniform, stepped through the gates, looking like any other traveler. But to the group of strangers standing near the coffee shop, he seemed out of place. They muttered among themselves, their laughter carrying through the terminal. The soldier had a worn backpack slung over one shoulder, his posture stooped as if the weight of the world was on him. Some of the strangers snickered at his disheveled appearance, their eyes sizing him up, judging him for what he seemed to be, just another homeless man. What they didn't know, though, was that this soldier's life had been anything but ordinary. He wasn't just any man off the street. He had served in one of the toughest units in the military, seen things no one could imagine, and had been to places that could break a person. But it wasn't his military history that made him stand out. It was the secret he carried, a secret so powerful, it could change everything. As the group of strangers continued their conversation, a couple of them made cruel remarks about the soldier's condition, not realizing that their words were being heard. The soldier, however, stood silent, his gaze piercing yet calm. But what they didn't know was that beneath his quiet exterior, he was formulating a plan. One of the strangers, a woman in her early 30s, wearing a designer jacket and expensive shoes, caught his eye. She was the ringleader, the one who had said the harshest words. He could see through her facade. Beneath the confident exterior, she was as lost as anyone, living a life built on lies. And while she mocked him, he smiled to himself, knowing something that no one else did. Just as the tension in the air started to thicken, a sudden announcement over the intercom interrupted the moment. "Attention, passengers on Flight 204, please report to Gate 23 for final boarding." The soldier's eyes briefly flickered toward the gate. He had business to attend to, but not before he showed them who he really was. A few moments later, he casually approached the group, his presence commanding more attention than he'd ever intended. His eyes locked with the woman's, who froze for a second, sensing something was off. She began to feel the unease crawling up her spine as he took a step closer. "Did you say something about me?" The soldier's voice was calm, steady, but there was something behind it that unsettled her. The group fell silent. The woman's face flushed, her laughter from earlier fading. She opened her mouth to say something, but the words wouldn't come. The soldier remained unmoved, his calm demeanor belying the storm of thoughts running through his head. Then, the unexpected happened. He reached into his backpack, pulling out a small, dusty envelope. He handed it to the woman, his expression unreadable. Her eyes narrowed as she took it, feeling the weight of it in her hands. Something about the envelope felt important. "I think you'll find that this belongs to you," he said softly. The woman hesitated, unsure of what was unfolding. Her curiosity was piqued. Slowly, she opened the envelope, revealing a key and a note. It was simple, but the handwriting looked old, as though it had been written many years ago. The note read, "The key to your freedom lies beyond what you know." The atmosphere shifted, and the strangers exchanged uneasy glances. The woman turned back to the soldier, her mind racing. "What is this? Who are you?" He didn't answer. Instead, he turned and walked toward the gate, leaving them to wonder what the key could possibly unlock. Was it a clue to something bigger? What did it mean? And why had the soldier given it to her? As the soldier boarded his flight, the woman sat there, still holding the key, her thoughts swirling in confusion and fear. She couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something much larger. And what happened next would only make her question everything she knew about herself, her wealth, and the secrets buried deep within her past. The key, it seemed, was only the first piece of the puzzle. But the real mystery was yet to unfold. And the soldier, once underestimated, would soon reveal that he was far more than just a man trying to survive. He was the one who held the strings, orchestrating a plan that none of them could have foreseen. Would the woman discover the truth in time? Would the other strangers find themselves drawn into a web of deception and danger? Or was this soldier's plan far more dangerous than anyone could have ever imagined? As the plane took off into the sky, one thing was clear: the soldier had the answers they desperately sought. But would they be willing to follow the trail of secrets he left behind? The journey had just begun.